Madame Tussauds, sir? Round the corner on the left. No, it fucking isn't. Wait, you, called I across Leicester Square after the poor vanished tourist. Here, what did you tell him that for? Ah, isn't it, said the chef, leaning across the takeaway window and handing me my cup of styrofoam tea. I thought everything in England is round the corner on the left. I don't have time for foreigners. Sir, you want some tahini on that? £3.50. I should have went, but for some reason I stood on and said, Take the log out of your own eye. Where the hell do you come from? Me? I'm just a guy in a restaurant. Burger alone or chips, madam? You can say I'm from the Holy Land. As he lit a Camel's cigarette in his jaw like a white wishbone flank, his tall shape upright, his dark eyes leaned across the counter and the pavement and gave me a body search, not for the dirties, but for something else. Yes, boy. Of a country, a condom, a home. The plane trees were letting the sun through their leaves of stained green glass. Tramps lay here and there like little boats asleep in deep grooves of low-tide mud. A practising piano conspired with a passing bus. An upper chorus boy on his way to work threw in a scale. Oh dear, it isn't working at all today. But here, I was shaking my head and trying to be rid of some stupid bloody nosebag off my face. Large round rings of white smoke, cigarette rings that cut sharply before my eyes to become bigger and bigger sizes. Rings mirrored in the widening washed ripples of a mercury pool. White smoke that seemed eternally to be clearing. The road was up and running again, the endless curve of white stitching that always seemed to be travelling at me and disappearing painlessly between my eyes. My focus changed. The wee smile on his camel lips. I saw that all around me, strangers were building long queues on the brilliant sunny afternoon for films they could see cheaper and in their own tongues in the suburbs of their own countries. Are you English? By the way, do you have a visa? I tittered. I've a dark past. You shot somebody? Dunno, it was dark. Ha ha ha, he goes like a waiter, his high white neon cheekbones pumped. He gave someone carrying a tinfoil balloon a pitta. He exhaled briskly. Sigh, move, slap of his cigarette pack on the counter, and suddenly he was leaning over towards me. Where are you from? Now I have something to tell yous. Wherever I come from, I can't remember. I can't even remember who suggested forgetting. But I've been passing myself off as an Irishman these days. We'd been reading about the Irish crisis recently, me and my plastic bags. 10 minutes ago, at a Tottenham Court Road bookshop, we'd been kipping in the glass pane of the window. Window shopping so bloody hard that our plate glass home cracked at a rate of 300 miles an hour and turned us into refugees. You know the way it feels when there's a fibre optic sliding down your throat to reach a child trapped down a well with the world's cameras watching? The name of the bookshop was dead simple, dead spare. Conflict. So I played the dumb moke sniggerer. I'm from the Holy Land. No way, said the razor-headed stranger immediately. It's a place in Belfast, said I. Kilburn. It's the Kilburn of Ireland. My eyes circled stigmatically right away around Leicester Square. Odeon, Swiss Centre, Empire. A pack of pigeons shite-bombing the hell out of a squad of pink mechanical dogs some trader had crawling on the gobbed pavement. I adjusted the wee trike's tighorn on my brow, squeezed a crackling plastic bag known to me as Sadie Sainsbury. It's bedsit land. Would you look at the bloody dark eyes of him? Bedsit land? You need a work permit from there? His razored hair was jet and breathless. His hand with the cigarette was poised like a butterfly on the tin windowsill. Come here till I give you my picture of Zion. As you pass the bay windows, you see all the parlours have beds and spotty owl dressing table mirrors that fold up like spotty owl wooden pictures of Mary, the mother of Jesus, and there's old trousers with wet trousers booking poetry into the gutters, and all the streets are called Jerusalem or Bethlehem, and men with their cap peaks reversed knock your spotty door. Could we borrow your corpse for a soundbite? It's not interesting, it's boring, my friend. Well, they don't call it Palestine. Israel is a technological place, my friend. 90% of people use cash point card. They put the plastic in their pocket and they walk off the main street, and with all the bloody progress in the world, they are in the Arabia of the Edgware Road. It's a spacious place, the Edgware Road. There's room to do the deed and piss away off. His butterfly fag took off from the counter and flew about us dismissively. His eyes rolled in a trance of contempt. Hey, fuck operating in the magic circle. I'm not a camel. I am a European, by the way. I got my holy land right here. Still of fizzy water? Chili? No tickets for cats. White or brown bread? 2 sugars? Round the corner on the left. He was hacking and slashing and making cheese rolls with his toes. Winter Castle? Round the corner on the left. Listen, my friend. I don't care who you slaughtered. How would you like to be a waitress? Well, I had to stand back and look before I saw that he wasn't just in a window. It was one of those sandwich shops that spring up in the stress cracks of Leicester Square, those winking markers that are the true ends of all the world's runways. You wouldn't notice it until you were sprockled on the pavement with starvation, ogling the sweat on the flat yellow square of cheese in its Tupperware containers. Cholmondeley, read the sign above his jet head. Inside there, behind his shite-eaten smile, was a narrow room like an airliner, bunged full of customers yapping and waving dockets. Take me away from all of this, plant me in a petrified cafe, with a few cars passing every day, the sap draining from me, and you. I said, aye, all right. Like a flippin' ape on a rock, his long, skinny hand shot out, and suddenly my plastic bags were behind the counter. As he held open the door for me, his arm above my head was like the boom of a ship, and all these past customers walked out slowly, blinking, into the sun. As we went in, a million bright, speeding screens came at us like cat eyes, and the wee waitress and the tall chef passed between their eyes like they were lighted street lamps. Oh, but never let on. Who's that by the portal waving goodbye? It's the bookkeeper. Our boss likes to hire the ones hitchhiking round the northern hemisphere. A teardrop rucksack is hard to trace. So this place was what you called a caff. I couldn't remember if I'd been in one before. A small green cockroach ran straight across the floor like a cardiac arrest. It was so narrow in here you could deface both walls at this one time. The kebab kept turning round and round, scanning the grill with a sizzle, and the steel canisters of Fanta were piled into lovely dusty orange pyramids. I sat down, though I wasn't beat. I was raring to go because now I knew who I was. For when the tinker with his caravan comes round peddling the new identities, the new woman always answers the door. And why not, sure? Wasn't I the waitress? The chef was back over at the window with a fish spatula, slapping off the counter the white knuckles of the aliens who were already begging for my job. His metal slice glinting in the light like a sword to strike an adder, he was saying to this Filipina, "Your madam beat you with a Hoover cord and you still shaft the Friendship Bureau on your marriage commission? And you, Romanian sir, are you before Ceausescu? Because I only help the ones BC, because I found out the refugee is always like the regime, my friend." He was awful tall, this Azraeli, with his white nylon shirt and old analog watch jiggling from his belt loop, and he did everything like oiled lightning with one hand to his head like his ear was smoking his fag. On off, did he never stop? Whack! There was a shawarma and chips band down in front of me. Tahini, hummus, hot pitta. You'd have thought my tricorn was stuck to the plate. I wiped it with the hot chilies and swallowed them whole, for I was starving hungry. Whack! Learn the menu. He shot down the red plastic book and an order pad with the words scrawled on across the bottom. I jumped to my feet. Here, what's this service not included, thank you? Am I to thank you before the world for not fucking paying me? English tradition, my friend. By the way, did you ever have a nervous breakdown? Ah, the past, the past. As his tall drainpipe body stood over me, some fella walked backwards past the kebab window and was staring right in at me through a telescoped Take That poster. Looping over and over inside my head was a wee saying. And just before he died, what remained of him became very excited. You know, all you have in this little life is memories of... I can forget. Said I, a nervous breakdown? Not since I became your friend. Here, you ever feel you're stalked by snipers wearing hoardings for me and my girl? Don't think about the Home Office here. Whack. He threw down a cappuccino, a murky Pernod and a cheesecake covered in hemorrhaging cherries. Here, you have my permit to work very, very hard. You learned the menu yet? Sure, I'm sweaty Betty. I'm a highly experienced waitress. What does the menu say? It says, you are a stranger here. You have no friend but cheesecake. We are your ambush. He never looked at me unless he had to. Get their orders before they see the toilet. So you got some kind of a memory problem? Which memory you lost, the lock or the key? You see how to work the espresso machine? His skinny wrist with the copper bracelet shoved aside the microwave on the shelf to show behind it a big squared off pile of greenish eyeglasses and a pair of false lashes. You put here the things the customers leave behind. You still feel hungry now? An apple pie with ice cream? You told that big woman you hadn't any ice cream. Anything at all you want, I get it for you. Here I promise you the staff are the customers and the customers are the staff. Every day is the rebirth of a fiscal year. We live like kings while the boss is away. Aye, but when's he coming back? He went to Israel to bring himself back a wife. With his personality he may never multiply. Relax, by the way, I take care of him. That rich bastard is very, very intimidated by me. He snapped another camel with his fancy lighter at the same time as he J-clothed the counter, as he lifted his big foot to kick the static out of the tea-leaf covered radio on the floor beside the overflowing bin, till out of the radio leaped an English bitch with a country garden down her gullet. Of course, the messenger biker with his helmet of today is really the jousting medieval knight of yesterday. So I booted her till the tea leaves flew and they staticked, and I said to the chef, you see your country? I love it. I wasn't 2 seconds through this door, but you'd the kettle on. You see your boss? Do you think he'd marry me? He will say you are a spy from the income tax. He cheats, therefore you must be a spy. He was staring me up and down, and one hand shoved me at the mirror and my hieroglyphic bondage gear. My old dustman's veil, with its high-pointed ears of Anubis the jackal. Oh, quite nice, quite nice. Wasn't I a wee Rocky, with sharp shoes and a fag and a wee dander down the Springfield? Your clothes are fucking horrible, my friend. Why you don't try Oxfam? Oxfam is my sweetheart, it doesn't take sides. I got these there, hush puppies. His black comb was out of his pocket and back in again. Did you just give me a parting? I do this for your own good. You will make lots of golden pound tips, I promise you, my friend. I feel it. I feel it. We're breaking into a 3D run. This is a shit home. Soon as I get my visa, I leave. And what the hell will I do? Who cares? In the meantime, you take care of my concerns and I take care of yours.